Welcome to the Why Nelson University podcast. We're excited to be in the den at the Barnes Center here at Nelson University in the big city of Waxahachie, Texas. My name is Rick Bowles, and I am the Vice President for Advancement here at Nelson. And my co-host is our Senior Director of Alumni, Mr. James Carnell.
Welcome, welcome. Hey, it's good to be here.
How you doing? And this happens to be a kind of a rainy day today.
It is. I'm probably going to have that afternoon cup of tea. A little spot tea.
Need a little pick-me-up, right?
Yeah, to help me get through the day. I mean, it's been a busy week.
Yeah,
It's been
for
a
you
busy
especially.
week. Yeah, it's been crazy.
We'll get into that a little bit. But before we go any further, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our guest because he might want to jump in here and have some conversation before we actually get to some questions. So this is Dr. Kerry Woodson.
Hello.
And
how are you guys doing? It's good to see you.
It's been just recently that you became an official doctor, right?
It is. It has been very recently, like in the last year.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
How long did it take you to get through your...
I was on the accelerated program. I treated it as a full-time job. So it took me about 3 years, though, of treating it as a full-time job, like all day long, every day.
Yeah, that's
Wow,
great.
awesome.
Got it done. Well, congratulations on that.
Before that, you just played a doctor.
I pretended
TV.
to be one. I
Yeah.
didn't even do one on TV.
Oh,
so
okay.
yes.
Well,
Awesome.
James, you've been busy, as we mentioned, and not too long ago, we completed Homecoming.
Homecoming.
Do you remember what anniversary
Hang
it
on.
was?
Let me go back in my brain.
But a lot going on. Why
a
don't you
lot.
kind of give us a recap for those that weren't able to join us for Homecoming this year?
Yeah, Homecoming was great this year. We 2024 Homecoming, a little different. We had it the first weekend there in November. Kicked it off Halloween night, October 31st, with our basketball game with the snowstorm. That was a lot of fun. Great to see that happening. And then just some newer events that we did. The Friday night banquet we did away with. And we had Nelson U Barbecue, which was the first one ever. And it was more designed to accommodate affinity groups. And so we had a great evening. We had 250 people show up for that event, which was pretty cool. That was a lot of fun. Our Homecoming Chapel, we made all of our award winners known and gave them their awards that morning. And, of course, the tailgate, then the football game, it was rounding that out. It was a lot of fun. We had some great new people show up. It seemed like this year we had different groups come than have in years past. I think in the past, I would say it was an older age group that came to Homecoming, but this year we had more younger families come, younger alums, which was pretty cool.
That was good. I think especially that banquet or non-banquet, the barbecue on Friday night, drew in a different crowd.
It did, yeah. And that was what we're going for. We're trying to see. And
We're going for different.
We're going for different. We're going for new at Nelson U. There you
Oh, I
Come
see
on.
what you did there.
go. Yes.
We need to get him a new scriptwriter. But I will say this. I got to give you props.
Yeah.
You have really developed, especially the tailgate, made it more of a carnival kind of feel. I noticed a lot of children out there.
Yeah.
Jumpies. Kind of go in a little more detail of what your vision is for that event.
Our goal is and even next year is going to be a little different because we're hoping to tie in Parents Weekend with Homecoming next year. So the goal is to get our younger alumni back. And so especially with the tailgate and the carnival, it's designed to bring the families out, bring your kids out. Let's train them up to be Nelson University students early on is the goal. Have a great time coming to the games, cheering on the Lions, having some great food. I mean, the church Bible and Church Ministries department does a great job of cooking and doing the grilling there. That's a good deal. But it's designed, as was said, to get the younger families out, to have a good time, leave a good taste in their mouth about Nelson University.
Had a dunking booth. I think you did that. You started that 2 years ago. I was one of the donkeys, and I said, one and done.
You said no more.
One and done. Didn't want to walk around with wet clothes. I think I survived no one throwing the ball at the target, but always somebody walks up and
punches it.
And
Yeah.
it's probably Dr. Hayes probably did that. Yeah.
Well, back then it was actually early October, so it was warmer.
Yeah.
This last one had a little bit of chill in the air.
Yeah, would not have been a good time to be wet.
That's right.
But SMA, the Student Missions Association, we allowed them to kind of take that and use it as a fundraiser. They did a really good job of raising money for their missions project. So that was pretty good.
Speaking of a little chill in the air, December 2nd, we had Christmas at Nelson.
Yeah.
The alumni department hosts that with a lot of different folks helping career development, obviously advancement office, a lot of sponsors. So it was a great success. If you've never been here, we have the lights all over the front lawn on Sycamore.
Yeah.
The admin building, farmers, what's that called officially?
Farmers Administration Building.
Something like
I think you're right.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
You get 10 points.
Dun, 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 dun.
But,
We are farmers.
It's if you live in the area or close by, I would encourage you between now and early January to check out the lights.
Yeah.
The gentleman, the company that does that, Clyde, do a great job in putting all that together. But tell us a little bit more about what Christmas at Nelson was all about.
Well, it's an event designed for the students, faculty, staff, as well as the community to come out. It's a laid back, fun filled environment. Everything is free. The cookies, the hot chocolate, everything is free. And just to come out, hang out.
Even the ornaments.
Even the ornaments. It's made your own ornaments. And that was pretty cool. But it's designed to get the community, everybody out, just to relax, have a good time, kick off the Christmas season. It's been a student favorite. I know for many students will come to me and say, that's my favorite event of the year. They get the chance to make their homemade ornaments. They have the Christmas cookies made by the Women's Alliance. I think they made over 900 cookies to give away.
I might or might not have sampled a few of those.
A few of those.
Yes.
So you helped to track that number just a
That's
little
right.
bit off of
That's
that
right.
900 mark. Huh?
Yeah.
But yeah, and so we got out some community sponsors that came in and helped sponsor the event as well. We had some churches come and be a part of it. And it's just for the students, it's the last week before finals kick in. And so it's always that last minute push. And so it's a great way to just I don't know, let off a little steam, have a little fun.
Well, and STUCO, Student
Congress. Yeah.
They typically have done a petting zoo
Yeah.
during finals, but they, in the last few years, have moved it to this event.
Yeah.
And that's a big hit. Hayride.
The hayride. The hayride, it was so funny. It was a last-minute addition a couple of years ago. I said, hey, we need to add some more events. What can we do that's pretty easy? And I said, let's do a hayride. Everybody loves a hayride. Well, the initial response that I got, I'm not going to tell you who, but I got some response saying, where are they going to go? And I said, well, just around campus, it'd be fun. We'll make them sing songs. And it is proven to be like the number one hit, I think, because
you can see the line.
We stopped the event at 8:00 and it was at 8:30 that the last ride was given because the people just love it. It's a pretty cool deal.
The driver of the hayride told me he was able to help everybody accomplish their goal of riding on the hayride.
And being safe. Yeah,
Well, the reason I didn't want to do it, you wanted to drive originally, and I didn't want you to knock people off. That might be a liability issue.
I'm just reminded of the days.
I know how you drive.
Yeah, like my dad's hayrides when he used to drive us. And he'd bounce you off. How many kids can you lose?
That's right.
But no, it was great. The hayride was fun. The petting zoo was great. We have a train that we rent every year for the kids to ride around in the front of Collins and Davis, and that's a lot of fun. And then we have our orchestra, our band, jazz band comes out and plays. And then we have the choir perform, and then Nathan and Meredith sing some Christmas songs. And then I've asked Renee and Nelson DeFreitas to do the Christmas story for the past couple of years, and that's a nice little touch, I think, too.
So it was a great evening. A lot of people from the community came out, alumni, so it was a great event. Well, let's move on to a really important topic, talk about Business and Education College. And I mentioned Dr. Kerry Woodson here with us. So thank you for joining us, by the way.
So glad to be here with these two.
Tell us about Dr. Woodson, where you came from, how you got to Nelson.
Well, my history is not that interesting, but I come from a very blue-collar family as far as what led me to higher education. You wouldn't think that this is where I would end up because my family is very blue-collar, parents with 7th and 8th grade educations, no expectation for college whatsoever. And so when I graduated high school, that was like the only expectation. Good job. Well, I went into the business world just like what my family had done.
That was just what you did.
That's just what you do. You go to work. You graduate high school and you go to work, and that's what I did. And so I bought my first business when I was 23 years old, and started just plunging myself into that. But then along the way, always realizing it seemed like there's a lot more that I really could learn. I don't have it all figured out yet. So I didn't start my college career, if you will, until I was 28 years old.
Wow.
And I came up here to Nelson as a married adult student with 2 kids and that's what started me down my path. And so then went back to Houston and still kept running my businesses there. Ultimately ended up at Rice and did my MBA at Rice University there in Houston. And after that, started teaching as an adjunct here at Nelson in 2007. So did that for 9 years, still living in Houston. Came up here full-time in a full-time on-campus faculty role. Still lived in Houston. Commuted back and forth for a number of years.
You knew 45 highway really well.
I knew every pothole. I think I still do. Every pothole on 45.
But the big question is, how often did you stop at the barbecue joint there?
Woody's was,
yeah.
believe me, Woody's at Centerville was one of my main stops. Actually, just stopped there the other day again. So anyway, then I started teaching, went back home I commuted for those years. My wife stayed down there in Houston. I would come up here and teach, go back home on the weekends, and then went back home for a little while. And then in January, this last year, 2024, started here in this role, came back in this role as dean. And I would also like to add that finally, now, as of this summer, we sold our place in Houston. We are officially Waxahachie residents now.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
That's
and my wife and I
awesome.
live in the same town at the same time. So
There you go.
That's a great
even
thing.
better.
That helps the marriage, doesn't it?
I don't know, something about that absence makes the heart grow fonder, I think there is.
Well, that's what you kept telling yourself.
Yeah, that's right.
We were
That's right.
joking about that. Yeah, sometimes the wife says, "Don't you need to go do something?"
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything that we don't know about you that you want to share? Maybe a hobby or anything like that? Or,
Well, yeah, since my talents are very limited, that we won't talk about that. But usually most people associate me as a sports guy because I'm just an old former gym rat who just grew up staying on the basketball court all the time. And so I typically will be at all the sporting events. You see me at the basketball games and the volleyball games. But people don't know that actually I'm a theater guy.
Oh, wow.
It's like, yes.
You are a thespian.
Well, I am not, but I appreciate thespians. That's
okay.
the
All right.
theater. Yeah. So my wife and I, we've actually been to more professional theater events than we have professional sporting events.
but yet you really attend a lot of our sporting events here, I noticed.
Yes, I am here.
So
but
are you there because you wish you had the talent, or you just enjoy watching sports?
I just enjoy.
There
I
you
had
go.
to give up on the talent a long time ago, and so realized it wasn't meant to be.
Well, you are, as we mentioned, the dean of the College of Business and Education. Tell us a little bit about the programs you have and some of the new things maybe happening.
Okay. Yeah. So I will try not to take your whole program, talking about all of our programs, but maybe trying to hit a few highlights. Starting with, let's say, so our college is comprised of 4 departments. So first, we have the business department that would have a lot of your typical business degrees, accounting and marketing and things like that. We also have an MBA that's part of that, where we have the typical general business MBA, but now we've just gotten approved, and we will be offering soon a specialization in healthcare administration
Great.
in our
Awesome.
MBA program. We also have a teacher education program that will let students who want to teach and be certified to teach in public schools. They in a lot of different teaching areas. I won't go into all the different ones, but they can be a certified teacher. We also have a history department where history classes where people don't even think that, that's a good foundation if you want to be a lawyer, to go into law school, things like that.
Yeah.
And then we have what we call our general studies department that houses like our interdisciplinary studies degree, that if someone doesn't really know exactly what they want, is a good degree. We also, that's been part of that, and we've just realigned it, but we have our kinesiology program that is
Awesome.
part
Yeah.
of that.
So you launched that a year ago?
Year ago, yes. And
How's it going?
It's kind of going it's going great, actually. So I think it shows the demand for this type of program. Where we launched it last year, we had 5 declared majors, and that went up to over 50 this fall.
That's
So
awesome.
from one year to the next, and it is just continuing to demand. It show that it's in demand.
Yeah.
Great. And it's our foray, you might say, into the health science world.
Yeah.
Most people don't think of kinesiology as health science.
Yeah.
But that is where we are starting, and we can talk a little bit more later if you want to about where we want to go in terms
well,
of
that was
going.
my next question is,
okay.
so you talked about kinesiology. What other new or degree specializations are you looking at? Because kinesiology can lead into...
That kinesiology is a good springboard and a foundation to lead into a lot of these health science, whether it be physical therapy, occupational therapy, even all the way to like chiropractic. Things like that. Kinesiology is a good starting point into all of that, but we're not stopping there. There's more. There's more. Yes, I'm going to try and do my radio voice with you guys. I can't hang with you two on that. So, but yes, so we are wanting, and our plan is to start expanding into this whole health science field, where nursing is high on the priority. There's a lot of interest in a nursing program, and that is high on our priority list from the administration on down to get this nursing program up and running. That's excellent. We also, along the way, some other things that we're wanting to add to it, like physical therapy assistant and occupational therapy assistant, athletic training. A lot of these things. So if you kind of see a general theme with the science department, to start moving into this realm and to let people start realizing that there's more to Nelson than maybe what they've thought about in the past.
That's awesome. Yeah. So these degrees, what are we looking at? Possible timeline? I know I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yeah, you're going to probably get me in trouble with my bosses.
Let's just say speculative.
Speculatively.
The rumor is.
The rumor is. I am hoping to get some of these programs approved by the end of this academic year that we can start offering as early as fall 26.
Wow.
Is when some of them, and then we will build from there as we are able to. First off, we get the funding that we need, which the support is just seeming to be out there from our alumni base and people like that want to support these programs. Yeah. And so that's part of what it's going to take. But so we're looking at hopefully having something as early as fall 26, start rolling more out. We want concentrations in our kinesiology program that would be some of these occupational therapy, physical therapy assistant concentrations in our kinesiology program. So a lot of different things like that, and that gives you an idea of what. Oh yeah. Don't hold me to those timelines.
No. But that's exciting as we look towards admissions and recruitment and marketing Nelson out there.
Yes.
I'm going to a camp coming up at first of the year. Students are looking at Nelson University as a potential, but I get the questions, and I know our admissions counselors do. Right. What are some of the? I'm not wanting to go into ministry. I don't want to do this. Do y'all have anything in the medical field? I think that's amazing.
I think it's a huge field for us, and it's a great area of potential growth for us.
Excellent. Mm-hmm.
Last night I was had an opportunity to be a guest speaker in one of our classes, and I've heard this a lot. It's not the first time to get that opportunity, but it kind of dawned on me after some conversations that you and I were in a meeting with earlier this week about professors, about the opportunity for students to really get to know their professors and what have you. But it just as the class got started, the instructor had prayer for the world. So we do a prayer for a country
of the day
every week and every class, and just hearing the story of that particular country and their needs there. One of the students prayed over that. You don't get that a lot at the university level. Yeah. Tell us from your perspective what it's like for a student to come to a Christian university like Nelson University and how the professors play a role in that?
I think it's a huge role, and it's a differentiating factor for us. I mean, there are a lot of other Christian schools out there, and so it creates a unique, in addition to our, what I call our close-knit family atmosphere on this campus, among the students, among the staff. But what I hear repeatedly when students will do reviews or evaluations, rarely is it, I'd like to say, they're here because that awesome dean, or that awesome vice president, but we know that's not. Rarely do they ever say those kind of things. So it is the faculty, and the faculty here at Nelson is what really sets us apart and uniquely distinguishes us from other, even Christian schools. So instead of being in a class of 500, the faculty to student ratio is much smaller. The professors actually get to know you, and you know them, and you see them walking around campus, and you're able to, hey, how are you doing? And so they're part of your life. And it's not just the sage on the stage that you see in a classroom and then you never see them or they don't care about you again. And even years after a student will graduate, they will still comment about Dr. So-and-so this, Dr. So-and-so that. They meant so much to me. As a matter of fact, in a meeting that we had yesterday, one of the ladies in that committee, we were talking because one of our committee members was retiring, and she was one of his former students, and she couldn't even just hardly say because she was just, that's the kind of relationship that our faculty members really create with our students.
Great.
That's awesome. That's for alumni, being the alumni director, it's also, I hear that from our alums. What was your favorite time here? What's your favorite memory? And a lot of it, especially when we did the affinity banquet, the reunions at the banquet, at the barbecue. It was, I want to come back and see my old professors. I was asked that question many times. Is Dr. Bartell going to be there? And they would just go through the names, and I would
Are you
say,
implying that the professors are old?
No, I'm saying I'm old because
he did say old professors, didn't he?
Former professors.
Former professors. Yes,
I don't want to get you in trouble.
Yes.
Not just old. Sorry, Dr. Bartell. Just former professors. Yeah.
Although, yes, he might be old because he was my professor too. So.
We just want to make sure he doesn't watch this podcast.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, block his IP.
There you go.
So what excites you? If you're looking into the future, what excites you for the future of Nelson?
Well, I really like the general direction that we are heading, and it's remaking our identity something. But yet, at that, I want to make sure that people know that we're not changing who we always have been. We're not changing what we have always done, but we're adding to it. And so we want people to know that we are more. Yes, we're still a Bible school. We still train pastors and missionaries and the pulpit ministers, and we still do that, but yet we are that and more. And as we continue to expand these professional type degrees, that will also put Christian, kingdom-minded people out in the marketplace. That's where there's as much opportunity for ministry as there is behind a pulpit. We're not all called to stand behind a pulpit. I'm not one of those. But we're all called to contribute to that overall kingdom plan.
That's awesome.
Well, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Woodson. Dr. Waddle. Thank you for joining us, and it's always a pleasure to chat with you, and we appreciate your vision for the College of Education and Business. So with that, I think you got anything else you want to say before we say goodbye?
I was just going to give a couple of shout-outs to our team who just did a great job over the last couple of months. Somebody asked me, why am I red-eyed and blurry-eyed and all that? Well, we went from our golf classic to the gala, and then into homecoming, and now into Christmas at Nelson, and had the parade last night. It's just one of those things. It's just a busy month, and our team did an amazing job. Brooklyn Ruddle is our administrative assistant. She is the events coordinator. I forgot her title for a second. She's the events coordinator for the alumni office and does an amazing job helping to put these events together to make sure everything is checked off, and does a great job. Joe Cardenas is our is also.
What's her title?
She is the development specialist. I can't remember her title.
Donor relations.
Donor
coordinator.
relations.
There you go. Sorry about
coordinator.
that, Joe.
Sorry, man. Titles.
And
Who
then-
needs titles
and then
anyway, right?
you
You
have
just
an-
know what she does.
I know what she does.
And then you have a part-time assistant.
And
Don't
I
forget
do.
her.
Eva Thomas is my part-time admin, and she does an amazing job. So they all just pitched in and did just a great job. It is kind of scary because, I'm turning things over and then yet at the same time watching them just knock it out of the park. My hat's off to them. They just did an amazing job. So.
Also, you don't see them, but there's 3 digital media art students here that are taking care of this for us. We appreciate their help. And,
Yeah, I know one of them really well.
Yeah, I don't know who she is, but I think maybe kin to you somehow.
She's probably kin to me a little bit.
But thank you so much for your help, and thank you for joining us on Why Nelson University.
Thank you, guys.